the enviable venue was Hammersmith Odeon. That's where everybody played. Wembley Arena was way out of anybody's sights, but Hammersmith was the gig to play. It's a great soul connection.
Last couple of days, I read somewhere that it was like the spiritual epicenter for Whitesnake.
It's cool. It's cool to be here. It's a great venue.
It's just a place that you take pride playing in.
Something's different. Yeah. When did they take the chairs out?
What David has accomplished for an ongoing amount of time is really phenomenal to me, in spite of lineup changes and things like that. In David's case, or the case of Whitesnake, what has always remained true is the Whitesnake identity. And he's really, really good, and I applaud him for this, is finding guys to associate with that faithfully reproduce that vision that he has.
Well, the history for me is probably, starts from being a fan back in probably the early 80s when I first heard about Whitesnake, and they already had a few records out. It was like a new kind of a heavy blues rock sound, and that's what I think of when I think of Whitesnake. A couple of years ago, he contacted me and said he was going to reform the band and very much wanted me to participate. So I was like, absolutely. I flew up and met with him, and it was good.
I always wanted to be in Whitesnake, and for a player like me, there's not that many gigs. I pretty much stalked them. Yeah, I mean, I wanted the gig really badly.
I feel really lucky to be here, and be, one of the guys on stage with David.
Yeah, man, it's like full circle for me. Like when I was a kid, listening to that and dreaming of playing that, and now to be playing it is a trip.
It's really a blast to be here, playing with people like Tommy and Doug and Reb and Timothy and, of course, DC. I've been a fan of David's forever, He's a singer, if you know what I mean. That's my opinion,
Technology's come a long way as far as PA goes, and we come in and we measure the room and make sure that we have speakers pointed at all the seats, and we try very hard to make sure that each seat is receiving the same level of sound, that you would get in the front row, that you'd get in the very back row. Sometimes we can't always do that, but that's what we try for every day.
Hi, my name is Michael Muley. I am Whitesnake's monitor engineer. Everything up to 11. No, actually, it's a quite controlled stage sound. They're a very tight band, so everything is pretty much precise, especially the harmony vocals. It's loud, but it's very controlled.
How many lights do I have in the rig? Probably about 180 power cans and about 30 moving lights. Then I have some mole phase with color changers, 24 strobe lights, 9 spotlights, hazers, dry ice machines.
Things have been full on since 7 o'clock this morning when we started. Had a lot of extra lighting in here for the film shoot. Had a lot of extra people. There's 70 video crew in here.
He's very easygoing. He likes to have certain things in certain places, just for the general vibe and feng shui. He does a lot of energy work.
Hello, I'm Amy, and I'm the drum tech. It's a beautiful Tommy Aldridge kit. Sounds great.
It's kind of a custom kit out there. They're maple shells. You can't buy them, but they're very, very close to what you can buy.
Some days easier, some days more difficult. It depends on the day. Sometimes wing nuts strip.
Even though I'm a little skinny guy, I tend to break things that other guys don't.
He beats the living daylights out of this kid. He's a very heavy hitter, and there's a lot to maintain.
Keep in mind, I just bang on things for a living.
Well, starting with this one, this is the first guitar that I bought for a session with Twisted Sister. I paid $1,800 for it. It took me about 5 years to pay it off. It's worn in really big time. There's huge indentations in there from just years of playing and just my fingers just rubbing against it. It's a solid piece of wine koa, and it has Brazilian rosewood neck, which is called pau ferro. It's very nice wood. And I love this guitar so much that I had John Suhr make me another one exactly like it. And he did. It's pretty much the exact same thing, except for I have different pickups, EMGs in there. I like kind of flashy guitars. I guess it stayed with me from my childhood. And this guitar is, I don't know, it's got a mirror, so it might not be good, but it's very expensive paint. It's called Prism paint, and they use it on race cars. By the way, these are Suhr guitars, John Suhr. He was the master builder at Fender for a long time. I only bring 4 guitars on the road. This is kind of like a little prototype thing. I was thinking of what if you put this cool, I used to have a model called a Voyager with Ibanez, and so we stole the mirror idea. And I wondered what it would look like on a normal guitar, and the answer for a lot of people was like hell. A lot of people don't like this on there. And, I think it looks kind of cool. It's different, so that's cool. My amps, they're 76 Marshall heads that weren't touched for 10 years. The thing I like about them is there's never enough low end on a Marshall for me, and so I had this installed. It's the depth knob, which adds depth. It says depth, but I think it should say death. There you have it.
I love all old vintage guitars, and for this mainly I'm using Les Pauls. It's like a 57 reissue, this one. This black, it's a 73. It's, nothing really special, but it feels really good and it sounds good. And this one is kind of my favorite. It's this, it's like a 58 reissue, and had the finish taken off the neck, so it's got a really smooth vibe to it. And this one actually, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I got a little JP here that last year we were playing in Brighton, and Jimmy Page came back, and I said, "Hey Jimmy, what do you think about scratching your initials in the back of my guitar?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, that'd be cool. I've never done that." So he took a fork and he just put, JP. So it's really special for me.
My name is Chris. I stage right guitar tech and bass tech for Rhett Beach and Marco Mendoza. So basically I just come in and just start changing strings. I spend 2 or 3 hours a day doing this. Changing strings, stretching strings. Keeps me busy. I have 4 guitars, 2 basses, 6 instruments to work on every day. Make sure everything's working for the show, and we're ready for this one.
Grab your partner by the hand.
We have my old mate Tommy Aldridge on drums. Tommy's just the greatest, and to have an opportunity to work with him, particularly that Marco Mendoza, the bass player, has worked with Tommy for so many years. The rhythm section's a marriage made in heaven. Doug Aldridge I'd seen for many years. He's got all the ammunition that I need as in a 6-string player. Rhett Beach, of course, feels it's his destiny to work with me in Whitesnake. And Timothy just continually impresses me. That's always the hardest thing for me, is to get that foundation to build the rest of Whitesnake on.